Good morning. Today we are going to discuss one more lesson from the book India, A Journey Through Stories. Today we are going to discuss lesson number 7, The Silver Lining by Chaman Nahal. Before moving on to the story, let us have a little discussion on the author Chaman Nahal. So Chaman Nahal was born in the year 1927 and died in the year 2013. He was a professor at Delhi University and also served as a lecturer at Rajasthan University as well, and has also served as visiting lecturer at various universities in USA, Malaysia, Japan, Singapore, and Canada. Besides this, he has also written several stories and uh, has a reputation as a writer. And he has also contributed in a weekly column entitled Talking About Books. And this column appeared in the newspaper, the Indian Express, from 1966 to 1973, as you can read on the screen. He is also awarded the Sahitya Akademi Award, right? And this award was given to him for his novel Azadi, which was published in the year 1975, and this is his very much acclaimed work. And this is about the basically about the uh, partition of India and what happened to the migrants, right? So this is all about the migrants who faced certain kind of hardships. That is all is discussed in this uh, novel Azadi. Besides, he has written several short stories as well, and but many of the stories are not collected in the volume. But still, there are several works. One of them is The Weird Dance and Other Stories, which appeared in the year 1965, and the book that is Silent Life, Memoirs of a Writer is also Chaman Nahal's account of his own life. So, who is Chaman Nahal? So, to simplify, he was basically a professor and he has served at Delhi University as well as Rajasthan University as well as various other universities across the world. Besides, he is also a prolific writer and a columnist, right? So, what is this story about? The silver lining. The story begins with this passage, which greatly embodies the overall message of the story, Silver Lining. The passage is like this. It begins with, and I quote, "It is difficult to assess the range and quality of human emotions. Those with smiling, evergreen faces may have warm like grief, gnawing at their existence, and a dull, idiotic looking person may be blissfully happy. Life is a strange, humdrum affair where even a few moments of peace, snatched, should be gratefully acknowledged." Now, what these lines suggest is that life is full of different possibilities. It is possible that the one who is smiling may have certain kind of grief, right? Hamesha hasta rehu. It is also a symbol of having some kind of grief within. So there are several strange moments in life that they uh, appear in the life of a human being, and so these everyday happenings or these strange things can also make us unhappy as well as happy. This is what life is all about. It is the mixture of different emotions and different conditions. Now, who are the characters of this? This is a general introduction. with which the story begins. Now, who are the characters? So, there is one character, that is Mr. Dhanda. Mr. Dhanda is about to visit a hilly area. So basically, the story is located in the hilly area where there is a guest house, and Mr. Dhanda is willing to be the guest at that guest house. And why is he willing to be at that guest house? Because he had heard a lot about that guest house, right? That hill resort, and one of his friend had suggested him that place. So the passage reads that a friend of mine had earlier warmly recommended the place to me, claiming for it all the facilities which most of these boarding houses advertise but generally lack. The recommendation was a fulsome one. It was centrally situated, close to the post office, close to the market, close to the bus stand, and yet was isolated and away from the common beam. There were pleasant views to be had from there. It had an excellent cuisine and was well looked after by one of the most charming hostesses one could find anywhere. So, this paragraph shows us the qualities of the hill resort where Mr. Dhanda is willing to go. Now, what are the qualities of this resort? The first quality is it has all the facilities. Now, what are these facilities? The first is it is centrally situated, which means that you can easily reach to the guest house from any place, from the bus stand or from the railway station. It is again close to the post office, it is close to the market, as well as it is close to the bus stand. So it is easily accessible place. This is the very first quality. Second, it offers pleasant views. Now, pleasant views because it is situated in a hilly area, and so the location is very much pleasant. So it offers pleasant views to the visitors. And thirdly, it has excellent cuisine. So the food that is given at the hotel in this resort is also excellent. And above all, who takes care of this resort? Then it is the hostess, the charming hostesses who are taking care of this resort. So Mr. Danda is quietly impressed by this description of this resort from his friend, and so he is willing to uh, visit this area. So he goes to the resort one day and finds that the place is exactly the way it was described by his friend. And who are the hostesses? There is a husband and there is a wife and there is a little daughter. So who is the husband? It is Mr. Banderi, and his wife is Mrs. Bandari, and they have a little daughter named Pramodini, right? So Mr. Danda goes to this resort and meets the host, and he is very much impressed by this cute little family. Now there is also a description how Mr. and Mrs. Danda looked. So Mrs. Danda is basically from South India, but she married to Mr. Danda, who is a North Indian. Her skin tone is rather dark, but she has a pleasant face and she is very kind by nature. Mr. Dhanda is all like a common North Indian man with a huge body, large and bony limbs. So both of them are well mannered and they are not rough to the guest. So they are very much courteous to the guests that arrive over there. So that is given in the second paragraph of this story. Now, what is the center of attraction to the visitor who comes there? The visitor is Mr. Dhanda. He is talking to Mr. and Mrs. Bandari, and at that time, while chatting with the host, he becomes aware of a girl who is hiding behind the settee. Right. Now, who is this girl? This girl is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Danda, right? And I already told you what is her name. Her name is Pramodini, right? So, Pramodini is hiding behind a settee. So, naturally, when we see a child, what we do is we try to communicate with the child. So, the same is done by Mr. Danda. He also describes her appearance like she was again sweet and charming like her mother. Her hair was closely cropped with a straight fringe across the forehead, like in Chinese fashion. And she was in jeans and in her half-sleeved loose jersey and high boots, looked like a miniature jungle queen. But the behavior and her appearance did not correspond to each other, right? She did not speak. She tried to avoid the narrator. Now, the narrator did not know that the girl is not able to speak because the girl was deaf and dumb. But the narrator does not know this, so the narrator tries to talk to her. He asks her name, but the girl becomes self-conscious and runs away from the place. Right. So at this moment, Mr. and Mrs. Tanda, uh, Mr. and Mrs. Bhandari, sorry, try to convey Mr. Dhanda that their daughter is not able to hear anything or speak, and that is why she did not come to Mr. Dhanda. And with this revelation, Mr. Dhanda feels very sorry because he also feels ashamed that how the girl would have felt when he approached her and tried to talk to her, right? So he suggested a suggestion. He gave a suggestion to Mr. and Mrs. Pandari that this may happen every day with the girl, right? Every visitor who comes to the resort might be calling on the daughter, but he thought that why not you give every visitor a chit, right? A chit with the detail that their daughter is not able to speak or listen. She is deaf and dumb, and so the visitor should allow her to acquaint her with them, right? So the chit that they prepare for every visitor who enters in the guest house reads like this. The text on the chit reads like this: that our daughter is deaf and dumb. You may hurt her by trying to be friendly too soon, as she can neither understand nor reply to your kind words. You are requested to please give her time to approach you and make your acquaintance. Thank you. So, the note that they have prepared suggests that the visitors who come to the guest house should give her some time rather than directly approach her because she is shy and she cannot speak and understand whatever the visitors are speaking. That is why the visitor should give her time. So this idea worked because the visitors started giving time to Pramodini. They did not directly approach her. So Pramodini was also happy with whatever was going on. Now one day, something different happens. Right? There is one visitor who comes to the guest house and visits Mr. and Mrs. Pandari as well as Mr. Dhanda and Pramodini, the deaf and dumb daughter of Bhandaris. Right. Now, who is this visitor? He is Mr. David. Now, what happens is Mr. and Mrs. Pandari are busy preparing the room and other services for Mr. David, and at that time, Mr. Dhanda was planning to go for a short excursion, and so the landlord was also in hurry. At that time, they see the young man coming in who was David, right? So the young man was barely 25 years of age and he looked a little untidy, but he looked cheerful, right? So Mr. Bhandari tries to talk to the young man. Mr. David, I presume, he asked. The young man looked closely at his face, smiled, and nodded. Mr. Bhandari answers him, room number 18, please. Everything is ready. The young man again looked at him, smiled, and nodded. He paid the porter, who bowed low, for he was not asked to return the change, and disappeared. The young man gave me a brief, friendly look and sat before a huge book which the landlord had pushed before him, making the necessary entries about himself and his intended stay. Now, who is me here? The young man gave me a brief look. Now, who is the me here? Me is Mr. Danda, the narrator. Right. So, if you notice, you will see that the young man has not spoken a single word. Every question is answered just by his smile and nods, right? So what the narrator and the landlords feel that the visitor is very much rude, he is unpleasant, right? So they feel that the visitor is very much arrogant, because he is not trying to reply even to whatever they are politely talking to him. Now, meanwhile, this visitor, the new visitor who has just arrived, is also given that chit regarding Pramodini's condition, right? So he opens the chit and tries to read it. As soon as he reads the chit, he goes to Pramodini. Pramodini was at that time playing in the courtyard, right? So at that time, Mr. David, the visitor, whose name is Mr. David, runs to Pramodini. Mr. and Mrs. Bandari feels very much bad, because uh, it seems to them that the visitor has neglected the request, right? He has ignored the request to maintain the privacy and decorum of their daughter. So they are upset with the behavior of the new visitor. But after few moments, they all go out in the veranda and see that the scene that is very much different in front of their eyes, that they did not expected to see as well. So what happened in the veranda when David went to Pramodini? Uh, the man was reclining on the grassy ground and Pramodini was sitting on his lap. And David was showing her the flowers. Even Pramodini was laughing like she had never laughed. Right? So the parents were surprised. They were amazed because their daughter has not laughed like that for years. So curiously, they were watching at both Mr. David and Pramodini. Now Pramodini was very happy right after meeting David. So she ran to her mother and danced about her with joy. She made her queer sounds of mama and wildly pointed to the young man. Right. So Pramodini was very happy with whatever the behavior Mr. David had done with her. Soon, the surprise that we get is the realization by the narrator as well as the landlords that Mr. David, who has come to this resort, is also deaf and dumb. And that is why he is able to understand Pramodini's behavior, as well as he is able to convey his own thoughts to Pramodini. So, with this realization, the landlords starts apologizing to him, but the man is very happy because he was able to convey whatever he felt or understood, and there was no difficulty felt by the man, right? Because he was trained to read the lips of the speaker, and he acknowledged everything that was told to him. And if he wanted to even answer something in length or even something complicated, then he used pen and paper. So the next day, after a deep talk with Mr. David, Mrs. Bandari was full of news. Now, what she got to know about David is that the stranger, that is David, had very definite plans for the betterment of Pramodini, because he knew that there are schools for such people who train them. Okay, that is sometimes these schools are beyond the means of common people, but he himself has been educated in one such institution abroad, and so he wanted to establish such school in India and wanted to render the same useful service to the others who were living there. So this was a very much good news because he was ready to accept Pramodini as his first pupil. So this would again change Pramodini's life, and she would be able to understand and live like normal people do. So this was something that made Mr. and Mrs. Pandari happiest. So in the dark, gloomy world where they felt helpless with the condition of their daughter because they felt that she will never be able to live and lead a very normal life, they find a ray of hope in Mr. David. So Mr. David comes as a silver lining amidst the dark clouds that gives Mr. and Mrs. Bhandari a happy approach or a happy understanding that their daughter can be cured and she can also live a very happy and normal life. So this is what the lesson silver lining is all about, and it gives us a very good lesson that there is always a ray of hope somewhere uh, in our day-to-day grief, right? So we should keep on looking for the better things in our life. Thank you so much for joining today. This is all that is for today. See you next time.